It sounds like a cliche, but the FIM CEV Repsol series really is where we find the stars of tomorrow. Last weekend at the Portuguese Moto Grand Prix, we saw Fabio Quartararo, Raul Fernandez and Pedro Acosta winning the races, and all three made their reputations right here in the CEV paddock. We're in Estoril for the opening round of the 2021 season, and over the course of the next 6.5 months, we'll have 7 rounds to determine the champions in the European Talent Cup, the Moto2 European Championship and the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Welcome to Estoril for the start of what will be the 5th season of the European Talent Cup, and the past champions aren't to be sniffed at. Manuel Gonzalez is already a world champion, Javi Ortigas has had a Moto3 World Championship podium, Izan Guevara is a junior world champion, and last year's winner David Alonso went out and won the opening 2 races of the Red Bull Rookies Cup. If you want to find the next big thing in racing, there's worse places to start than the European Talent Cup. Steve English and Kiko Giles bringing you the action from Estoril in Portugal. And Kiko, we had some great racing in the ETC last year.
I cannot wait for this season to start, Steve. Hello everyone, welcome. This is going to be a heck of a season. I really feel that this season is going to build on last what we saw, and this is what we saw. Sometimes action speaks louder than words.
Have it, some great racing last year in the European Talent Cup, and over the course of this season we're going to be here in Estoril for a double header in the ETC. We're in Valencia, Catalunya, Portimao, Aragon, Jerez, and then once again back to Valencia to finish the season in November. Kiko, what we've seen so far this week is a continuation really of what we saw last year. Lots of fast young riders. The guys that have a little bit of experience though are at a big advantage in this class. Absolutely,
the likes of Alvaro Carpe, Alberto Ferrandez, they are the ones really we're looking at in this class in 2021 to build on what they found last year. Carpe himself is a podium finisher at Aragon last year. Remember, we had that massive battle with Zonta van den Goorberg, and he is on the front row of the grid the first time for his first pole. So he's starting the season very, very well, Steve.
Yeah, that's what's interesting with ETC, because the guys that are fast in this do tend to transition very well onto the Moto3 Junior World Championship. That's what we're probably going to see over the course of this season as well. David Alonso, last year's ETC Cup winner, he's immediately made a big impact on the Red Bull Rookies Cup again this season, his second year in the Red Bull Rookies. But these guys, they can adapt very well from the Talent Cup bikes up to a Moto3 bike.
Exactly, and this is what this paddock is here to do. It's to bring on the talent at the first stages, then they transition onwards, they go out of the paddock into other classes like the Red Bull Rookies, wildcards then in Moto3, the main World Championship, and then stars are born such as Pedro Acosta and Izan Guevara. And this really is where they start in this Hawkers European Talent Cup. This is your poleman, number 83, Alvaro Carpe.
Yeah, Alvaro Carpe back for a second season of ETC action, and the Talent Cups really are a key part of the road to MotoGP. This is where everyone's on identical machinery, Kiko, and they really are able to let their talent shine through.
And it's very rare to see that in racing these days. It's very rare that it is more or less totally on the rider. This is what happened in qualifying practice. So Alvaro Carpe managing to pull off his first pole position and also his first front row.
Was so wet. The second, the track was right. Finally, I have the first position, and tomorrow in the race, I would like to fight to the first position. I like to tell thanks to my team and my mechanics for the good job that they are doing.
is our pole sitter, Alvaro Carpe. And second season in the ETC for the Spaniard. Last season he was able to finish on the podium, Kiko, and he started this season very strongly with pole position.
He started this season very strongly. He is one of the title favourites. I know it's mad to say that just round one, but he has got the experience of last year to build on. As you can see, he's had one pole this season already. He had a podium last year. Are we going to see a win today?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to do. Needs to make a quick start. We've also got Angel Picares on the front row of the grid, the middle of the front row for the number 18. Picares had his first podium in the European Talent Cup here in Estoril last season. He was a consistent top 10 rider last season and ended up finishing the standings 6th overall last season, Kiko.
Absolutely. He was second actually on the grid last year here as well, and also in the race. So Picares obviously taking to the Estoril circuit, and on these kind of machines, this circuit will be an absolute joy to ride.
Yeah, we've been watching from trackside, and these ETC riders really do fling it around this Estoril circuit. 4.2 kilometres here, very undulating as well. It is a technical challenge for the riders, but they have adapted quite well. An awful lot of rookies in the class. I think we've got over 20 rookies here in the ETC this season, so it really is a case of if you've got that bit of experience, like our front row, it does make a big difference. This is the final rider on the front row of the grid, Alberto Ferrandez, and for Ferrandez, he actually had 2 podiums here last year and a podium in Portimao, so Kiko, he's a bit of a Portuguese specialist. He's
a Portuguese specialist. He topped warm up this morning, whereas the front two on the front row, Alvaro Carpe and Picares, both Carpe crashed and Picares was only 20th. So of that front row, Ferrandez is in a really good place on the track. He's looking to convert that front row into something a little bit special in race one here this morning.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on the number 54. We're going to move on to the second row of the grid in just a moment. That's headed by Casey O'Gorman here on the number 67 machine. Casey, lots of wins in the British Talent Cup last season. He's actually been mentored a little bit by Shaky Byrne as well, so he's got a lot of experience that's trying to guide him through this. He's done a really good job this weekend, though, Kiko.
He's been an amazing revelation. Nobody expected Casey O'Gorman to be this far up. We've known him from such a young age when he's been coming through the Fab Racing paddocks that he has got the talent and he's got the pace. But to be 4th in this kind of class, one of the most competitive feeder classes to the World Championship, is nothing to be hung up about. That is a real strong performance. And Steve, for you, an Irishman finally coming through.
Yeah, we've got plenty of good fast Irishmen coming through. Jonathan Ray's not too bad, really. Here's one of our top rookies this season, and Joel Ruiz starting his first ever European Talent Cup season and does a really good job to be able to qualify on the middle of the second row.
Yeah, 5th place for him. Like we say, he's making his debut in the class this season, and I mean, if he's straight in and 5th, the front row might have the experience now, but as the season goes on, as is normally the case, the rookies find their feet and they do come forward.
Yeah, for Casey O'Gorman, this is only his 3rd round in the ETC as well, so not too much experience there. Hugo Milan on the inside of the second row, and for Hugo, he was able to score points in 5 races last season as a rookie.
6th is his best result. A race 3 at Aragon. 6th today on the grid is his best grid performance. And the thumbs up say it all. He could be a spoiler when racing goes here in just about 5 minutes' time. Not long now to the first race of the FIM CEV HETC Championship.
That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But
wow.
It's going to
be... Put my teeth in for that one next time.
It's going to be a fun day of racing here. 16 laps for the ETC riders, and then on the 3rd row of the grid, we're going to move on to be able to see the likes of Adrian Cruchet as well. And Adrian's quite an interesting one as well, Kiko, because he was a consistent front runner last season, but crashed out of those leading positions on quite a few occasions. It was 4 times he crashed out from leading positions.
Exactly, and we've seen with Cruces before, in 2019, he had a far better season in terms of consistency. And in 2020 he was arguably faster but less consistent. Therefore 2020 he really needs to leave that year behind, come back on form in 2021 and pick up where he left off in 2019. We all know 2020 was a very strange year, and I have no doubt that Cruces is going to be he's going to have a part to play as this season goes on for sure.
Yeah, he actually had one of his crashes out of the leading positions here in Estoril. He was in that front group last year.
Crashed from 3rd, yeah.
And then we'll wait and see what he can do during this. You said there that 2020 was obviously a strange year for everyone with COVID. Very strange year for Jacob Roulstone as well, because he started the year in the ATC, the Asia Talent Cup, and then moved across to Europe as well for his rookie season out here.
And a good start to his Asia Talent Cup as well. He was 2 top 5 places in 2019 and 2 top 10s last year in the CEV HETC, a best of 7th actually at the last round of Valencia. So Roulstone will be one of those riders who's going to make progress as this race goes on and as the season goes on.
Yeah, and here's Max Martinez, another debutant, and doing a good job to qualify inside the top 10 positions. Only 13 years of age. He's from Murcia, so he's from down there in Ana Carrasco country, but you know, he's done a good job to be able to qualify inside the top 10 here, Kiko. Only 13 years of age.
13 years old and in the top 10. I mean, when I was 13, I could just about get out of bed and do my homework on time, let alone qualify in the top 10 of one of the best feeder classes in the world. So name for the future, name of the present in this race, I feel. Max Martinez, he's been right up the top, right up the sharp end at least, right through the weekend. He could be another one to get his nose out there, get his nose in front.
Yeah, when I was that age, I was doing a pretty good job just to be able to get into school and copy someone's
Can you
homework,
remember that
honest.
age, Steve?
Well, it's a good while ago. David Garcia rounding out our top 10 here, another debutant. And for David Garcia, 14 years of age, just about to turn 15 as well, Kiko. It is just a class filled with young riders trying to make their mark.
And that's great. That's what motorcycle racing should be about. It's about unearthing that talent at such a young age. Best results of 6th for Garcia at Valencia Race 2 last year when he was 2nd on the grid. So he starts the season not in the finest of forms in comparison to where we left off last year, but we know he's quick, and you can teach a quick rider to calm down and keep out of the danger zone and the crashes, although he's mired back in 10th on the grid.
Yeah, it is going to be a struggle for some of these riders during this race. Welcome to Estoril for the opening race of the European Talent Cup season. We're going to have Alvaro Carpe starting on pole for the 16-lap European Talent Cup race. Angel Picares was a top rider last season, and Alberto Ferrandez reigning out our front row. Lots of experience for him. Casey O'Gorman on the 2nd row of the grid, and again another rider stepping up from one of the other Talent Cups, and he's been able to do a really good job through the course of this weekend. He's a 3-time winner in the British Talent Cup. Steve English and Kiko Giles bringing the action from Portugal here in Estoril. And Kiko, we're going to have an action-packed race here in the European Talent Cup.
Absolutely. It always is a bit of a lottery here at Estoril. I don't like to say the word lottery, but it is very hard when we've been sifting through our pages of notes to find any pattern that's really been consistent with Estoril in the last couple of seasons as to how this season's played out. So don't read too much into this at the moment. Just a quick Brit watch for us all. Casey O'Gorman, Irish flag for him, top 4 in qualifying. Fantastic stuff. In this class as well, we've also got Emmanuel Brinton and Corey Tinker, both of them looking in fine form. And let's not also forget Johnny Garnes, who was at Valencia at the last round. He could be one of the riders to watch in terms of grabbing a few points later on. The grid is clearing, Steve. We are moments away from racing action in the FIM CEV Championship in 2021.
Yeah, the grid clearing for the European Talent Cup, and we're very lucky that the weather has actually taken a turn for the good, because over the course of this weekend, all we've had is thunderstorms forecast for Sunday, and suddenly when you look at today's weather, we've got blue skies, bit of cloud, but for the European Talent Cup riders, we're going to start off the season in good conditions and pretty much a dry track all the way around, Kiko. But this is a tough technical track for the riders.
It is. It's very difficult. We've not seen, really, like I said, any pattern that we can build on, and that's because Estoril's very quirky. It's not a typical big, wide World Championship track that we've become so accustomed to at the place like Catalonia and place like this. Turn 3 that they're going through right now, that's a big overtaking spot. Turn 4 can be as well. You can see there the air temperature is 17 degrees. It's 18 degrees on track. It's perfect for racing. A little bit cloudy. There are some thunderstorms scheduled in according to our various apps for around midday. Let's hope they don't interfere though with this class. That's through turn 5, the really fast king. This is one of the big braking areas. Remember back in 2006, that Repsol Honda pileup we had down here in MotoGP? That's turn 6. We can probably get a pass done through there, but it's also important to take the speed all the way around here, this long left-hander, the Parabolica interior, over the top of the hill and down towards turn 7, another pass in place. But in general, not so many, Steve. You've got from here on in, maybe one or two, and then it's all about that drag to the line.
Yeah, you're going to need a willing dance partner to make moves through some of these corners, particularly in these downhill braking zones. We had a lot of rain last night, so there is still some damp patches out there, but this is one of the key overtaking places. Down into the chicane, Kiko, just barge down the inside and just have that corner.
I think it was 2017 or 2018 we saw that in the Moto2 race with Eric Granado all them years ago. It sounds so long ago, but the chicane really is one of them. You set it up in the first part and you absolutely launch the bike up the inside going into the chicane. There's not really any room for the rider to fight back in the second part of the chicane, but then just because you've done that move doesn't mean you're the smartest rider of all. There's a big run to the finish line here from that final corner. The job is not done until you have crossed that line, and that is no truer than here. That's your pole man, the number 83 of Alvaro Carpe. He's looking from his first win, from his first pole position. Will he be able to convert it?
Yeah, for Alvaro Carpe, he's got some experience underneath his belt. He's been able to be a podium man in the ETC, but looking for that first victory, and it could well come today, but he's going to be up against it as well. The middle of the front row, Angel Picares, a lot of experience for Picares, and then Alberto Ferrandez on the outside of the front row. It's a 16-lap race, and we're just about to kick off the 2021 FIM CEV Repsol season. That is Alberto Ferrandez on the outside of the front row.
Teammate to the pole sitter Alvaro Carpe, so a bit of support there on the front row, but we're about to go racing, Steve. Can Carpe convert?
Yeah, you can see the green flag at the back of the field. We wait for the red lights to come on. Red lights are on, and then we wait for the start of the 2021 FIM CEV Repsol season. Great start from our pole man Alvaro Rakova, but you can see there that the man from second, Angel Picares on the number 18, has actually come through as well, and Ferrandez can go down in towards turn 1, the 54, trying to get the whole shot. Everyone a little bit easy on the run in. It's Casey O'Gorman, though, that swept around the outside into turn 1.
We're all through safely. Casey O'Gorman, what a flyer from the head of row 2. So the Irishman leads the way in. He's a rookie. He's only done a couple of races. Alberto Ferrandez there in second place. Picares, I think he just got picked there for third, but the main thing, everyone through cleanly.
Adrian Cruces down into third there, and you can see the 67 of O'Gorman leading the way. Really good start, but he's already out. O'Gorman down through the left-hander, just pushing a bit too hard. Unfortunately, this is what we saw at times last season in the British Talent Cup. He's at the front of the field and just makes a mistake, but Casey's going to get an opportunity to race again this afternoon. Big shame, though, for the Irishman. Down in towards the left-handed hairpin, you're going to see that Ferrandez is back out in front, and Carpe, our pole man on the 83, trying once again to get down the inside. Casey O'Gorman has been able to restart, but Kiko, that's disappointing for the Irishman.
That is such a disaster. Honestly, that was the kind of race that he's never led a race before in this class, and it showed there at turn 4, but he's going to pick himself back up. The front mudguard did come off in that accident. He is trying to resume, not sure if he do. This is the overtaking point we were talking about not that long ago. This is the chicane. Does everyone get through cleanly? I think they do. Alberto Ferrandez leading from third, but Cruces, what a start. He's come from row 3 up into second.
Yeah, Adrian Cruces on the number 10 doing a really good job here on the opening lap of this race. And now for the rest of the field, they're just coming through the Parabolica as well now, Kiko. And this is one of the key corners. If you're able to maximise your drive through here, you can pick up that slipstream, set up a move down in towards turn 1.
Alvaro Carpe just got shuffled back by Hugo Milan for about 5th place there. There was a little bit of contact as they came through, but look at the slipstream effect here as they come down the straight to end the first lap. Lap 2 now underway. Ferrandez is weaving around. He's trying to break the slipstream there, and he's done a pretty good job. He's held on from Cruces. Coming through is the 28. That's Martinez. That's up from 9th place. So the rookie gets ahead of Picares. Picares, really, from the front row, he's not been convincing just yet, but he might just be taking his time to settle in. We've seen what happens with Casey O'Gorman.
Oh, Martinez down the inside and takes the lead there. The rookie, Max Martinez, with a great move down the inside. But you can see here in the ETC, it's only a matter of time before someone else tries to attack back. You don't tend to see too many riders run away from the field during the course of these races. Only 16 laps here, 14 laps here in the European Talent Cup.
Casey O'Gorman back on track there. As you can see, he's coming into turn 4. Turn 3. Let's have a little look what happened at turn 4. As you can see, he's leading. This is really the first left-hander on this track, and you can just see the tyre is a little bit cold. and he's just washed out in front of him. He's held on, he's done very, very well. He's kept the clutch in there, and he's able to rejoin. And let's see what he can do. Let's follow his progress. At the moment, still Martinez, who's leading from 9th on the grid. The number 28 of Martinez has absolutely flown through. Ferrandez is 2nd, and Cruz says he's under attack. Is he in 3rd?
Yeah, for O'Gorman there, it was just as he got off the brakes, he then has that weight transfer. That's what causes that crash. A little bit of experience to be gained from that. Let's see what he can do during this afternoon's races. Max Martinez, though, he's got no experience, and he's leading this race on the number 28 machine. Really impressive stuff from the rookie that qualified inside the top 10. But in the ETC, in all these Talent Cup races, because the machinery is so closely matched, it's all identical machines, it really is a case of being very difficult to break away. This is where it comes down to your racecraft. This is where the likes of Alberto Ferrandez just trying to use that slipstream, set up the move. It's all about trying to make sure that you're able to stay in the front group and give yourself the best chance as the race progresses. Good riding though from Martinez though to hold on to that down the inside, and you can see the 78 of Esteban as well trying to force his way down. He's in 4th position now, but for the likes of Angel Picares on the number 18, I want to start just to pick off a few riders as we go through this.
Exactly, just looking down the timing screens, Alvaro Carpe's down in 10th. That's your pole sitter. We had him on really for a very, very strong race. It's only early days yet with a few laps into this race, but really needs to start making progress. But as you saw down the front straight, Steve, it's total, it's not all a lottery. It's all about placing yourself in the perfect position so that you draft through. Number 85 on your screen there, that's Jabi Zuratuza. He's come straight through, really. He's come up very, very well indeed. As Ferrandez hits the front, well, just about. Does he run wide?
No, he's going to
he's got it done.
line. But for Ferrandez, the key thing is just to constantly give yourself those opportunities to make your moves. For all these riders in the ETC, they can also have quite a few of them racing in Red Bull Rookies Cup and lots of other championships just to give them that little bit of experience. We mentioned O'Gorman whenever he was out in front. He was in the British Talent Cup last year, also raced here in a couple of rounds last season. That's the beauty of the Talent Cups, whether it's the Asia Talent Cup, the European Talent Cup, the British Talent Cup, or the Northern European Talent Cup. This is a real opportunity for riders to come through and just show their talents. This is the kind of thing that we didn't have for a long time for young riders, and it means that whenever you're 12, 13, 14 years of age, you really can gain an awful lot of experience. You can see there in 3rd position, Hugo Milan just trying to get down the inside at the Parabolica. He's also going to be able to pick up a slipstream from the race leader, Alberto Ferrandez, as we move down the start-finish straight. Max Martinez just getting shuffled down a little bit. Angel Picares trying to move himself up into the top 3 spots as well now in the number 18 machine. Picares starting to make his moves. And the reason for that is we had so much rain that when the ETC riders were out this morning, there was a lot of damp patches out in the track. They're trying to re-establish themselves out there, a little bit green, but they're trying to make sure that they're able just to find where the grip is. So maybe Picares just taking his time just to find his way through. You can see with Martinez, though, once again able to hit the front down in towards turn 1.
He's an animal on the brakes. He's making up all his time on the brakes. As 2 goes to 44 and 2 riders. Hugo Milan gets ahead of Joel Esteban and Angel Picares there. So brilliant move, really, from number 44 of Hugo Milan. Yeah,
and Picares just trying to get back down the inside as well. He's trying to make sure he's able to recover those positions. And Picares on the 18, he's going to have to be aggressive in this race. That's the key in the ETC. You've got to make sure that you're able to stick yourself at the front of these groups, because it can tend to splinter out as well. You're already seeing there Jacob Roulstone at the back of this group. He's in 9th position, and you could easily see a gap starting to develop behind Roulstone. So keep an eye out for the Leopard bike on the number 12 machine. The front of the field, though, it's still Alberto Ferrandez leading the way, and Ferrandez, Kiko, he's doing a good job of just consistently making sure he's able to hit the front.
Exactly, he's the one really who should be converting his pace. He's got the experience, a little bit like Alvaro Carpe, who now just on Alvaro Carpe watch, he is down in about 11th place as through goes. Was that Garcia trying to make a move there at the chicane? Didn't quite see if he got it done. Either way, Martinez has gone back to 3rd. Now he's gone back to 4th. Picares has swept around him. And that rider in 5th is Joel Esteban. Now, he is a rookie. He was 5th on the grid. He's 5th in the race. Keep an eye out there on that number 78. He could be something pretty special. Is he in contention for a podium on his first ever race in the class?
16-lap race here for the European Talent Cup, so a long way to go in this one. But the key thing for all these riders is make sure you're able just to constantly find a way just to hit the front. You can see there Jacob Roulstone as the fan down in towards turn 1. Roulstone at the back of this group trying to make his moves, but once again Max Martinez able to make some moves down in towards turn 1. He's able to pick off the 44 there of Hugo Milan. We are starting to see this group start to splinter though, Kiko.
We are seeing them start to splinter. We're also seeing them start to run wide on a lot of these corners. Now be careful with track limits. Through comes Garcia on Joel Esteban, did he get it done? No, he didn't. He had a big think about it, though. The number 54 is leading, though. That is Ferrandez. Hugo Milan there in second. Third is Martinez. Garcia shuffled back to fifth now. He's just behind Esteban. And really, Picares there in sixth. Seventh is Cruces. So the experienced riders are not, besides Ferrandez, are not converting the pace we saw. Alvaro Carpe picked up a couple of positions. He's in ninth.
Yeah, and you can see the 28 of Martinez. He's able to make the move down the straight, down in towards turn 6. Takes a tight line. He's trying to be aggressive. It's going to cost him on the exit, though. So the 28 going to come under attack. Ferrandez with a quick look over his shoulder. He's not going to like what he sees because it's a big pack of riders with the 78 of Ruiz trying to make that move down the inside. There are overtaking opportunities around this track, but a lot of them you really do just need to commit to it. Down in towards the chicane, though, this is one of the key places. This is where a lot of riders can try and set up moves for later in the race, but at this stage it's all about just trying to avoid a mistake, keep yourself in the lead group, and then live to fight another day. At the front of the field, though, Kiko, Alberto Ferrandez on the 54 doing a really good job of always making sure he's at that front.
Yeah, he's going to, this is going to be a really fast lap, probably the fastest lap we've seen from this leading group. Coincidentally, whilst we're on that subject, the fastest lap is actually from down in 16th place, Cesar Perea, number 81 on lap 4, 47.456 for him. Across the line we go. Ferrandez, does he hold on to that lead? Not if Martinez is that close. Martinez is on the brakes, just lets the brakes off and then tips it in and gets the job done. Doesn't run too wide this time, unlike the 44 of Hugo Milan, who was on the green. Be very careful with that. Garcia, I think, has come into 4th place now. And Jacob Roulstone starting to make some progress on that Leopard bike. He's into the top 7.
And for all the riders, if you run wide onto the green, you can get a penalty for exceeding the track limits. They are actually quite strict with that in the FIM CEV Championships, so you do need to make sure that you're able to keep it firmly on the curbs away from the green paint. But for these riders in the ETC, there's only really a couple of places where we're going to see them run wide fairly often. Down in towards turn 1, very easy to be a little bit hot into there. You can see Ferrandez on the 54, just keeping that watching brief on the race leader, Max Martinez. And for all these riders now, as they filter their way through the infield section, this is where you've got to start making your moves. You can see the Leopard bike there of Roulstone. He's got good drive through that section. Not quite close enough to try and make the move, though, on Angel Picares. But for Picares, you've got to make sure that you're making moves through this, because the field is actually quite fast right now, Kiko. We're already faster than yesterday's pole time. Yeah,
the track is improving as we go through this weekend. Roulstone on the inside of Picares. That's a lunge and a half. Did he get it done? Looked like he parked it. Proper move that from Roulstone, so he's up into the top 6, and just behind Roulstone and Garcia is Philipp Ton. That's a German rider. The number 66 there is coming through from 12th on the grid. That's row 4. He's in 8th and he's in the leading group, so really good stuff from him. He's had 1 point scoring ride in his career. It was Valencia last year. He was 13th. That is where we're picking up from. Look at this, 4 abreast as they come down the straight. Ferrandez is trying to get through on Martinez. Then there's Garcia. Ferrandez led it across the line, but you can guarantee Martinez, does he let the brakes off and go down the outside? He's on the curb, be careful. Ferrandez held on. Garcia comes through 2 in 1. Garcia second, Ferrandez leads it. 3rd place is Hugo Milan.
And you can see for Ferrandez doing a good job to hold on to that, but Garcia on the 31, he's looking nice and aggressive. You can see riders running all the way out onto the curbs. We saw in the run into turn 1 that Max Martinez wasn't afraid of being out on the curbs. So clearly there is good grip out there. The track is in really good condition for these riders, so they are starting to press on, push a little bit harder. That's the 66 of Philipp Ton. He's up there inside the top 6 positions, doing a good job on the Liquid Moly bike. But for all these riders, Kiko, this is where the elbows start to come out. We're closing in on halfway through this race. It's a 16-lap race for the ETC riders, and you can see as they're 5 abreast down in towards the hairpin. Ton trying to get down the inside. Martinez, he clips the 78, and the 78 runs wide. That's Esteban Ruiz as well. So for Ruiz, he falls down to the back of that group, and this is what can easily happen in the ETC. Picares trying to get down the inside into the downhill right-hander, not quite able to make that move stick, but he's got the number 12 of Jacob Roulstone there as well. All these riders starting to get aggressive. That's what's giving the leading trio, Ferrandez, Garcia and Milan, the opportunity to break away just a little bit.
Yeah, Milan has just hit the front there, I think, at the chicane. So good move from Milan. All of that chopping and changing at turn 6 and 7 was actually the number 66 of Philipp Ton. He was coming steaming through, and he just shoved wide at Martinez. And that had a knock-on effect. And then he did the same down at turn 7. But the front 3, they are fast, and they are now starting just to put a bit of time into Philipp Ton and Jacob Roulstone, who are chasing very, very hard, but I don't think they're going to be in the slipstream here. Garcia comes to, wow, wipes the front nose there of the 44 of Hugo Milan. Ferrandez is leading. Does Garcia have a little sniff on the brakes? No, Ferrandez is the best out of the top 3 there.
Yeah, Garcia just trying to make sure that he's able to put himself into the right positions there on the number 31 machine. He's got good speed through the parabolic. He's able to use that slipstream as well. So he's just trying to use this as a bit of a learning experience. Just seeing that Johnny Garnes is out of the race. So the British rider is going to get an opportunity to race again this afternoon in the ETC. But disappointing starts this season for the number 57. The fronts of the field, though, not too disappointing for these guys. Garcia has hit the front, and now with Ferrandez and Hugo Milan giving chase, they're going to try and make sure that they're able to try and break away from Philip Ton on the 66, Jacob Roulstone on the number 12 machine. And those riders, Kiko, they've got a lot of pace. You can see here for Roulstone, he's able to use that slipstream through the fast right-hander. Is he going to be able to set up a move into turn 6? Not quite able to do that, but he's looking like he's a rider with a lot of potential during this race. He's able to hold that tight line through the hairpin, and he's going to give himself the opportunity just to sweep across now to be able to make that move. Philip Ton, though, able to carry the speed around the outside. That's actually quite impressive from Ton. You can see there Hugo Milan down the inside as well. That's for second spot behind the race leader Garcia. It's all about trying to set it up into the chicane, though, people.
Yeah, Philip Ton had a little look there. He was never going to do it. It would have been the biggest lunge in motorcycle racing history had he done that from 4th to 3rd, but he's there. Like we said, that gap has closed. Philip Ton has got some very serious pace. He's come from way down on the grid, 12th on the grid, and to be running in the top 4, and we've not hit half race distance yet. This is exciting stuff. Roulstone there in 5th. Alvaro Carpe starting to pick up the places now. He's in 6th. 7th is Picares. 8th is Martinez. Can he recover? The number 28 there, who's holding off the 78 of Joel Esteban Ruiz. And Adrian Cruces is down in 10th. But across the line we go now. Ferrandez versus Philip Ton. Philip Ton's going to go from 4th to 1st in one fell swoop. No, he isn't, because the 54 comes back through of Alberto Ferrandez. But Philip Ton, revelation.
Yeah, Ton doing a really good job on the 66. He's up in second spot now and really applying the pressure on the race leader. It's tough in the ETC whenever you've got riders swarming around you, but Philip Ton, he's got the speed. He's the fastest man out in the racetrack right now. Got the fastest lap in this race, a couple of tenths of a second faster than the pole time, and he's trying to make sure he's able to use that speed. But if you're on the 54 like Ferrandez, you've got to make sure that you answer straight back. Otherwise, it's going to be a case of Ton trying to just get his head down, open a gap. It is possible to open a gap in the Talent Cup races, but you really do need riders to be fighting out behind you. You can see here with the 54 of Ferrandez, he's leading down in towards the downhill left-hand hairpin, but he's left the door open there for Philip Ton. Our pole sitter Alvaro Carpe trying to attack back as well. Garcia on the 31, he's just been duffed up by, I think it was Hugo Milan. You can see there with Garcia, he's out in the green. That's not going to be a big penalty for him. He was pushed out that way as well.
Yeah, he was kind of nerfed off the track. He didn't really have too much to do about that. He had to go out there to avoid an accident. Philip Ton, this number 66. Don't forget, he was in the Red Bull Rookies not that long ago. And, I mean, he wasn't convincing, but he wasn't poor. We never saw this, though. The number 66 really finding his way to... Oh, who was that putting a move on down there? About 9th place. That might have been Picares on Joel Esteban. So, really, really aggressive stuff further down the pack. Philip Ton then, through the parabolica they come. Out onto the straight. This is going to be Slipstream City, Steve.
Yeah, for Philip Ton, he's got that experience in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, like you said, Kiko. There are a few riders with that experience. Look at Alvaro Carpe, though. He's got experience. He's a podium man. He's trying to use that slipstream to get his move down the inside. And as they fan off down in towards turn 1, it is our pole sitter Carpe that's once again hit the front. He's taken his time to make his progress through the field, but now that the track is to his liking, he looks very comfortable out there on the 83. Ferrandez trying to answer back, not quite able to get close enough to Carpe, but for Ferrandez on the 54, we've seen him able to make a lot of moves to stay at the front. He's under attack from Philip Ton. These are the guys, Kiko, that look like they've got the pace to put their bike anywhere they want.
Yeah, and the problem is for the riders like down the field, you've got Angel Picares down in 8th. They've got to start making that progress so they don't lose touch if the front 4 or 5 do get away. The good thing from Carpe is he's played it smart. He's let everyone else do the battling, wearing the tyres down, and he sat back down in 10th and 11th, and let the race come to him. And now we're in the second half of that race. It's not a bad little method to do that.
Yeah, tyre life, not a big concern for the ETC riders. They're out there in Bridgestone tyres. You can see there the 83 just running right. That is Carpe. That's something that they're going to have to keep an eye on as well, because if you make that run wide on your own fault, that's where there's going to be a penalty. And for Carpe, he was on the wrong line through the downhill right-hander, and that's what almost made him tuck the front through there. He needs to just settle himself down and build himself up for the final third of this race as Jacob Roulstone once again tries to make the move into the chicane. He's done that a few times now. He's got a good front end into that section. That's where he's going to try and make his moves. This is what's interesting though in the ETC. Lots of different riders with different speed at different points on the track. When you look down that start-finish straight, we obviously saw Max Martinez early in the race able to make a lot of moves on the brakes. He's down in 7th spot now in the number 28 machine. Needs to be able to make some progress as we move to 6 laps remaining in this race. But at the front of the field, it's still Philip Ton that's been able to find his way through to the front. But Alvaro Carpe using a double slipstream, is he going to be able to make the move down in towards turn 1? Keep an eye on the number 83, left-hand side of the screen. Looks like he is going to be able to take the lead. That's from 3rd to 1st. So he's been able to do a good job down there. Actually, on the run through there, Ferrandez able to break nice and deep into turn 1. You can see one rider just running off. Not too sure who that is. It could have been Max Martinez that ran wide into turn 1.
Yeah, I think it was Martinez. He was almost in the car park there, down at turn 1. Garcia coming through. Did he get it done on Philip Ton?
He did, able to hold that tight line. Nice move there from Garcia.
Back.
Ton not quite close enough. He's going to have to let off the brakes if he wants to try and make that move. That's one rider that's ran off as well. We'll have to wait and see what number that is. But we do actually, Kiko, see that there are some track limits warnings coming in. One for Ribeiro. So this is where we do have to keep an eye on this through the course of the race.
Yeah, trying to find out who that was. Didn't quite catch the number. I think it was one of the back markers anyway. Well, not back markers, one of the riders down the far end of the field. So we'll pick that up when we get confirmation of who it is. Roulstone being forced out there by Picares at the top of the screen. At the bottom of the screen, Carpe trying to get back through him. Ferrandez can't do it. Garcia there in 3rd.
Yeah, let's see what Philip Ton on the 66 is able to do on the run down in towards the chicane. Is he going to be close enough to make the move on Garcia? Oh, Ton is down, and his bike's going to go through. He takes out Garcia as well. And is anyone else going to be caught up in that? Nothing that Garcia could do there. Philip Ton, though, just trying to trail brake on the run into that chicane. And we've also got Ferrandez is down as well. He's been caught up in that. So suddenly, we lose 3 of the front runners, Ferrandez, Ton, and then also Garcia. And that is a huge disappointment for those riders. You can see for Ferrandez there, he's still down, just trying to recover. Kiko, take us through it.
This is what happened here. Just coming through turn 8. He's on the brakes. He's got some angle, and he's just tucked the front. Now, oh, dear me. Really, they are so lucky there. They all were able to get up. But Philip Ton, totally innocent mistake. That was not anything really too outlandish. Pushing on too hard. Oh, you just don't need that, really. And what a shame for Ton as well. We were just saying he'd come from row 4 on the grid and was right in contention. But that, really, when you think about it, has put Carpe and Picares 1st and 2nd. What was we saying about experience coming to the fore at the first race of the year, Steve?
Well, we'll wait and see what happens in the next couple of laps. We've still got 4.5 laps left for these riders. At the front of the field, though, it is our pole sitter, Alvaro Carpe, there on the number 83, the red machine. Angel Picares was 2nd on the grid. He's up into P2 now. And that's a really good job. You can see there Hugo Milan on the 44. He's tapping his tail unit to tell riders to stay behind him. No chance, mate. No one's going to listen to you. Jacob Roulstone, especially on the number 12, he's not going to listen. On the Leopard bike, he wants to make his moves. He's been fast all the way through this race. And you can see now he's going to try and make a move into 3rd position as well. Keep an eye on the number 12. He's going to try and make an attack on Joel Esteban down in towards the next corner. Esteban actually does a really good job to hold off Roulstone and actually try and attack Angel Picares. This is coming up to the chicane. This is where last time around we saw Ton have his crash, took out some of the front runners. Very easy to run wide on the entry to there, like we saw with Ton, and lose that front end. You could also have damp patches out there in a few places that aren't being used by these riders because it's such a wide piece of track up at this point of the lap. This is the newer section of Estoril. This is where they remodeled it in the 90s. And it really did make the track so much wider there than some other places. You go down through turn 5, the kink on the back straight, that's a really narrow section of the track compared to up at the chicane. Estoril, it's got a lot of contrasts, Kiko. This 1 kilometre long straight, this is where it really is going to come down to it in ETC.
It's perfect for this kind of racing. Carpe managed to lead out the last corner and down the straight. Does he lead into turn 1? Of course he doesn't. Joel Esteban comes through, the number 78. But important there, Carpe looks like the gearing is good on that bike, and it looks like he is light enough to make that top speed work. Maybe we will see something different when there's more bikes together.
Carpe down the inside, not quite able to make it. And you can see there from Ruiz able to hold off that, but runs a little bit wide. Carpe's going to push him wide now. Next corner is a left-hander. Are we going to see the 78 try and defend that position? He's not going to be able to do that. He's going to run wide. He's going to lose a couple of spots potentially, because the likes of Jacob Roulstone is going to attack. A few riders running out onto the green paint there. You can see the 78 though of Ruiz trying to defend that position, but he doesn't have the high ground. Roulstone does. He's going to try and attack down in towards the left-handed hairpin, but Carpe able to defend that position well. Ruiz, he's going to be hung out to dry on that line, and Roulstone's going to actually be able to try and hold that tight line. Let's see where the number 12 comes at this shakeout down in towards turn 7. He is able to take that lead. He's able to hold those tight lines, Kiko. That bodes well for him.
Yeah, Roulstone is doing really a superb job, really. The number 12. He's only had a best of 7th in the ETC before, and quite frankly, he's looking comfortable at the front. He doesn't look like he's out of place. He looks very, very confident, running in the pace of the front runners, and he's pulling away. He's got a little bit of a gap. That's not going to last as we come down the straight, but he's hit the front. He's not making too many errors. He's let the race come to him, like Carpe has as well, like Picares has, and just maybe Roulstone is one of those riders who could be in the mix come the end. We've got a track limits warning for 44. That's Hugo Milan. And behind him, in 6th place, is Charul. That's the other intact Dynavolt bike, the number 36.
Yeah, and you can see Roulstone there. He's making sure that Carpe has to use all the track to try and make the move down the start-finish straight. And for Carpe, he's able to get into turn 1, get the bike stopped. Good move by him. But now, with 3 laps to go, this is where we tend to see the real experience come to the fore. But we do have some rookies in this lead group as well. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this in the final few laps. But Alvaro Carpe on the 83, he's leading this. Then we've got the 78 of Ruiz. He's up there in 2nd spot. Roulstone on the Leopard bike, the number 12 machine. He's up in 3rd position. Hugo Milan, we've already seen him get track limits warnings. And for Hugo Milan, he now needs to make sure he's able to make progress from 4th position on the 44. Angel Picares on the 18 rounds out the top 5. But it changes all the time in the ETC. But these are the riders worth keeping an eye on as they make their moves down in towards the hairpin. And Angel Picares, he's able to pick off a rider down into 4th position now. Jacob Roulstone, though, able to take the lead here. Really strong through that section for Roulstone. Lap after lap, he's able to put himself into the right position into that hairpin. We did see Angel Picares running wide, though, Pico.
Yeah, and he can't be doing that too much. Just a quick note on the rider in 7th. That's Rico Salmela. He's come from row 5, 14th and still on the inside. Ooh, I thought we was having a look there from Joel Esteban. Couldn't quite get it done. But the rider in 7th, Rico Salmela, has really come through. He's ghosted his way up. We've not spoke about him until this point. But the rider in 7th, he just latched on to the back of this group. I think he's chasing his teammate, actually, Picares.
Yeah, for Picares, he's up there in those leading positions. Now's the time, though, where you've got to make sure that you're able to hit the front like Jacob Roulstone's done. Roulstone on the number 12. He's actually stretched out a little bit of a gap. The 83 there of Alvaro Carpe has just taken 2nd spot as well. And you can see Roulstone's team, they're giving him the encouragement. He's trying to break that slipstream right now, but he's not able to do that. Alvaro Carpe is going to try and make the move down in towards turn 1. And you can see for Roulstone, he's going to sweep across. Is he able to hold this line? He has been able to get that bike stopped. Roulstone looks very strong in a couple of key areas on this track, but we've only got 2 laps to go, Kiko. So this is going to come down to who's able to use that slipstream down the start-finish straight at the end of this lap. If you're able to make your moves, make your positions, that's an easy spot to do it. We've seen Roulstone really strong into turn 6 as well, into the chicane on the final lap. They're the key places to make moves.
He's able to trail break into corners very, very well. He's really running in, nice and fast, carrying all that corner speed. He's quick in, he's fast in the middle of the corner, he's fast on the way out, and that's something that no one else has really done.
Yeah, and look at the gap as well here that Roulstone's been able to open up now on the number 12 machine. There's fighting going on behind them. You can see there with our pole sitter, Alvaro Carpe, just tries to dive down the inside into turn 6. That's just going to hold them up as well. Adrian Cruces in 2nd spot. He's under attack now. Jacob Roulstone needs to be really aggressive through these next couple of corners to see if he's able to open up enough of a gap.
Exactly. If he can do the last lap and a half of his life here. Jacob Roulstone, we're talking about the leader, the number 12 still on the inside. Comes Carpe, he's fighting back. He can see Roulstone getting away, and he's got to chase him down now. But Roulstone's gap, it's half a second.
Yeah, that's clever stuff there from Carpe on the number 83 machine. He is a podium podium man in the ETC, and he wants to make sure that he's able to stay with Jacob Roulstone as we come into the last corner for the penultimate time. And certainly for Alvaro Carpe, he knows that he needs to get his head down, use the slipstream that he can pick up from the number 12 machine. He is close enough now to be able to pick that up. You can see the riders now starting to weave as they start the final lap here in the European Talent Cup. Roulstone just a little bit out of reach on the run into turn 1. Carpe's going to just have to let the brakes off, just try and take control of the corner. But we know Roulstone is strong on the brakes. Carpe, though, able to make that move. He's hit the front. Is he going to be able to stay there? Because we know that number 12 of Roulstone is really strong into turn 6.
He's really fast through the middle part of this lap. So Roulstone, look, across the line last time around, he led over the line. If he can pull in that final half a lap like he just did, then he is in contention to be out of slipstream in trouble. But at the moment, he's second. Cruz says he's third. There's a big battle going for fourth, but I feel the top 3 as it is, crasher, top 3 as it is going to be the podium. We just need to see what order. Carpe's leading, Roulstone in second. Roulstone's going to have a look on the inside. He's almost on the grass.
We know this is where Roulstone's strong, down in towards turn 6. Not quite close enough to make that move. You can see Carpe trying to hold that defensive tight line. That was Brinton that was out of the race as well, further down the field. But now it comes down to the chicane if you're the number 12 of Jacob Roulstone. Adrian Cruz is doing a good job to keep himself in this battle as well on the number 10 machine, not able to try and make the move. It's Carpe! He just pushes too hard through that section. He's trying to defend from the number 12 of Jacob Roulstone, and he bites the dust during the final lap here in Estoril. Suddenly Jacob Roulstone elevated to that lead. He's going to come under attack though from Adrian Cruz potentially, but is Cruz going to be close enough through that last corner to be able to use the slipstream? It looks like Roulstone's got enough of an edge here on the number 12 machine out in front. We've got the likes of Esteban Ruiz trying to hold on for a podium position there in the number 78 machine. Coming into that last corner, it's still the number 12 of Jacob Roulstone leading this race. Is he going to give up the slipstream to Adrian Cruz? Cruz isn't close enough. Jacob Roulstone's going to be able to take the race victory here in the European Talent Cup. 25 points to kick off his season for the Australian. He takes the win from Adrian Cruz. Angel Picares was able to get himself up into the podium spots here on the final lap. And Kiko, what a final lap as well. What a race. Jacob Roulstone, his best result before this was only a 7th. It's his first podium, his first win. So Roulstone kickstarts 2021 as he means to go on. What a thriller to open the FIM CEV 2021 account. Rider okay for number 83 Alvaro Carpe. I think maybe he just needs to get back to the pits and get around his team and refocus for race 2. Yeah, rider okay for Carpe, our pole sitter, but he's not going to feel okay after that one, crashing out while leading on the final lap of the race, just trying to defend the position from Jacob Roulstone. But Roulstone really impressive during the course of this race. We saw him make his way through from the mid-pack at the start of the race, always able to make nice moves, nice clean moves, particularly down into the hairpin, and that's what puts the pressure on other riders. And for Roulstone, he was able to make sure that he was able to be in a position to be able to force the mistake from Alvaro Carpe, and he's able to get the rewards on the opening race of the ETC season. Really impressive stuff from the Australian rider Jacob Roulstone. Adrian Cruz on the number 10 machine. He was able to pick up 20 points here in second spot. And for Cruz, this was also a very impressive performance. He was able just to make sure he constantly found his way into those leading positions. And certainly for Cruz, he's going to feel heading into race 2 this afternoon that from the third row of the grid, he's going to be able to make plenty of progress. It's down into this chicane that we saw the big action of the race. We saw Philip Ton, Ferrandez, and another rider taken out in a crash. And that just shows just how much of a knife edge you can be on in the European Talent Cup. And you really need to be able to make sure you're able to stay at the front of groups to be able to try and stay out of as much trouble as possible. It's unfortunate for the likes of Ferrandez, but he's going to be back in action this afternoon for race 2 of the European Talent Cup season. All the riders making their way back to the Parc Fermé. We're going to be able to hear from Jacob Roulstone in just a couple of moments. He'll be down with Kiko in Parc Fermé, and it's going to be interesting to hear what the race winner has to say, because as Kiko said earlier, this is the first time he's been able to finish on the podium, and he does it in style with the race victory. Really impressive stuff from Jacob Roulstone to be able to come through the field and put himself into the right position from the third row of the grid. He's got plenty of experience in the Talent Cups. He raced in the Asia Talent Cup as well as the European Talent Cup last year. Actually had a lot of top 5 finishes in the Asia Talent Cup. This is his second season in the ETC though, and he's been able to start it in style. You can see the Leopard team down there as well, and certainly for Roulstone this is exactly what you had to do at the start of the season. And the 16-year-old As I said, plenty of experience in Talent Cups, whether it was in Asia or last year here in Europe, and it does make a big difference when you've just got that little bit of experience. He was able to put it to good use, put the pressure on his rivals, and able to take this race victory. Really impressive stuff from Roulstone. During the course of the week so far, he actually spent a lot of the time doing laps on his own during the practice sessions and testing, just trying to find his own level of confidence here in Estoril, and it certainly paid off, and you can see what it means for him and for the team down there, as the likes of Picares down there in the middle of the shot, Adrian Cruces also on the podium, and both of those riders are going to be pretty pleased with themselves for that. Of course, Picares started second and finishes up on the podium. Adrian Cruces starting from the third row of the grid, able to pick his way through to 20 championship points here, and he's going to be happy with himself for that one. Really good ride from the number 10. All these riders in the European Talent Cup, they're trying to emulate the success we've seen from the likes of Manuel Gonzalez, Izan Guevara, and last year's champion David Alonso, because this is a championship where if you're able to get fast enough to get to the front of the field, to show what you can do, you're then able to get good opportunities in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. And certainly for all these riders, they're going to feel that this could be the start of a really strong season. 11 races in the European Talent Cup during the course of this season, including a second race this afternoon. And it's always interesting to see who's able to learn their lessons from race 1 to race 2. A few hours with their team to be able to talk tactics, see what they're able to change with their approach to the races, and see if it changes their fortunes. Certainly for Jacob Roulstone, he's just going to try and make sure that he's able to get himself into those leading positions once again. Our pole sitter, Alvaro Carpe, he's going to have to dust himself off, try and come back through. Carpe was fast during the second half of this race, just got caught out on that last lap. Very easily done through that section of the track. We saw plenty of crashes there in the past, whether it was in the CEV Championships or World Superbikes last year as well. It is a technical track here, a tough circuit for the riders to try and make their moves, and this is a replay now of what we saw from Carpe, and you see just tries to carry too much speed there on the 83, only half a lap from home, trying to hold off the pursuing pack for the race victory. He's just trying to do what he can. It's unfortunate for Carpe, it's a big penalty, but he'll be able to put that to use in this afternoon's race, file that one off as one for experience. Jacob Roulstone, though, on that final lap, he was able to be really fast on that last lap. He was only a few tenths of a second slower than the fastest lap of the race, and he did that just to be able to hold off Adrian Cruces. At the flag, there was around about 4 tenths of a second between the two, so Roulstone's final lap really was the difference maker there. The number 12 able to pick up his first ever European Talent Cup victory. Certainly for Roulstone, this is going to be a day to remember. He didn't even have a podium in the Asia Talent Cup, top 5 finishes, but here at the start of his second season in Europe, he's been able to pick up that race victory. It's going to be interesting to hear what he has to say in just a few minutes' time, because this one's going to mean a lot to him. All the riders that make the move over to Europe, they do have to take on the challenges.
Jacob
We're going
Roulstone,
to hear from Jacob Roulstone now.
First victory. How do you feel after that one?
Unbelievable. I don't know what to say. Very happy. Cannot thank everyone, my team, all the people who have supported me, my family mostly, and especially my mum for living here with me. And yeah, I'm super happy. Thank you.
Jacob, all the best for later.
Thank you.
Should be super happy with that as well. Jacob Roulstone, first win in the European Talent Cup. And let's see how he did it. Keep an eye on the number 12 machine. Here's our highlights from the opening race of the 2021 FIM CEV Repsol season. there it is. Jacob Roulstone able to pick up his first ever victory in the European Talent Cup. They'll be back in action in around about 2 hours' time for race 2 this afternoon. Roulstone able to pick up the win from Adrian Cruces, and Angel Picares also on the podium. Kiko, really good performance there from Jacob Roulstone to be able to work his way through the field. We saw there in the last lap, really aggressive on the run through turn 5, trying to set up moves, just kept the pressure on Alvaro Carpe all the way through.
It's like we said, Steve, in that penultimate lap, he was so fast through the middle section, and if he could pull that kind of that pace in the last lap, he was going to put himself out of potential slipstreaming, and he did just that. A fantastic job from the Australian, who now leads the championship, obviously after race 1, going into race 2 later today.
It's going to be interesting to see how he's able to build on this as well during the course of this afternoon's race, because for the ETC riders, 2 races during the course of this weekend, and a real opportunity for some riders to establish themselves. A real opportunity for the likes of Alvaro Carpe, though, to just get himself back there, get some points. He was leading the race when he crashed, so yeah, he made a mistake, but he's got that speed.
He's made a mistake. Let's hope he learns the hard way. Unfortunate for Carpe, but the podium, Jacob Roulstone, well, who'd have thought that after not really a convincing free practice or qualifying on Friday and Saturday, but he's put himself in the #1 spot when it mattered.
Yeah, it really was a good performance by him, and you can see the riders making their way up onto the podium spots. And for Jacob Roulstone, this is going to be a moment he remembers. His first race victory here in the CEV Championships. And certainly, Kiko, when you look at his form from the likes of the Asia Talent Cup last year in the European Talent Cup, this is a massive step forward.
It's a huge step forward. And not only that, but we have seen this on occasion, the odd glimmer here and there, and he had looked good. Like we said in commentary in the race, though, Steve, did he look this good? Was it this convincing? Well, he started the season very, very strongly indeed. Let's see what he can do this afternoon. Of course, it's dry at the moment. There are thunderstorms apparently forecasted. It doesn't feel we're in the commentary position now, as you can see on the screens as well. It's not, it generally isn't that threatening at the moment. It's cloudy and overcast, but it's not, you don't go outside and you don't feel like you're going to get wet at all. So hopefully it stays dry. If it's wet, then that's another test for Roulstone. But he's definitely passed the first one, that is for sure. What a job.
Yeah, he's done a good job all the way through this. Let's hear the Australian national anthem for our race winner. Jacob Roulstone, our first race winner of the 2021 season, and he's going to get the opportunity to race once again in the European Talent Cup in just a few hours' time. But for Roulstone, this is potentially the start of something interesting through the course this year. Makes a massive step forward, Kiko, and now he needs to really enforce that in race 2.
Something very exciting for the championship as well. It's really good to see a very, very fast Australian coming over to Europe, and now starting to
congratulations to all
the
big hand of applause.
Yeah, and certainly we've seen plenty of fast Australians in the past coming through the CEV Championships, and for Roulstone, he'll be under pressure to make sure that he's able to build on that. But in this opening race of the year, you can see him up there on the podium alongside Adrian Cruces in 2nd spot and Joel Esteban Ruiz in 3rd position. And these 3 guys, they're going to have a lot to build on now for this afternoon's race. It's going to be interesting to see who's able to adapt from it. Obviously, opening race of the year, our championship standings are the same as the race results. So Jacob Roulstone leading from Cruces and Esteban Ruiz. It was a photo finish for third position that gave Joel Esteban Ruiz that podium from Angel Picares. We didn't need a photo finish for the race win. It was Jacob Roulstone that took the honours by 0.4 of a second. We got Moto2 up next here from Estoril.